Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So crazy, my sweet ones. We are my aqua babies. We're going to see what the hell is your deal, man? Like, what is going on with you? We're going to look at the mask. We're going to look at who you really are, the mask that you hide behind, why you hide your true self, and how this affects your relationships. And then we're going to ask for advice for you and the possible outcome should you follow the advice. So that's what we're going to do in this reading. It's kind of fun. I find it really interesting to kind of see behind the veil of everybody. And I think it's really interesting too because it gives you an opportunity to look at your process and see how that's working or not working for you. This is a general reading, so it may or may not resonate. If it does, and you're drawn to it, there is an extended. The link to that is at the top of the description within this video. In the extended, we're going to look at how to improve your relationships. What would your deeper self tell you about the mask that you wear? And how to release your true potential. But let's start right now. We're using my brand new Tarot de la Nuit deck. The old one is being auctioned off for charity on my eBay right now. You can find, there's a video about that on my channel. You can find all that there. All right, Aqua babies, Aquarius, the mask that you hide behind and who you are right now. I don't want to pull that out because I was asking, that's not the first card. It says the Four of Pentacles. I'm just going to show you that right now. It might be a mask that you're hiding behind, but it's not the first card that's supposed to come out. The first card is who you really are. I want to get right to it. Who are you really, Aquarius? You are the Two of Wands. Wow, this card is really interesting because I find it like she's breathing life back into something that was once dead. Oh, what I'm also getting with this is almost like pulling in like really deep ancestral energy. Really like pulling that in, almost sucking it through the cosmos. You're connected. So who you really are, and it's an interesting question to ask because everybody has so many different facets of themselves. Like even just asking that question, asking for one card to answer it is pretty flat. Like it's not really deep and dynamic. But what Spirit wants to talk about right now is that you have a really powerful connection with ancestral energy, and through that it guides you. And I kind of like that because it gives you a higher perspective. Because if you think about ancestral energy, once it's in the spirit form, it's really no longer attached to any sort of bias that the human brain can have on something. So it's almost like feeding into experience beyond yourself, but receiving it in a way that it is no longer attached to the dogma, to the titles, to everything that the human brain has applied to existence, to evolution, to your movement. So who you are is pretty damn deep. And I feel like you're not just going on your own here. Like you may even be interesting to see the mask you hide behind, because Aquarius is a very independent sign. I think they're very independent, but they're kind of do what they do for the whole of humanity, for the group, but often it's a very isolated energy because a lot of people may not get you. A lot of people may not get the broader picture of what it is that you're doing. So this is a little bit of insight in how you do it. Like maybe it's sort of just putting into words what you've always felt and how you've always sensed yourself to think about subjects and move kind of forward and try to get thinking moving forward in that. So this is almost like an explanation for you. I'm being called to pull her out. Here. Oh, she's fluffing her nose. Right here. Like this. I don't know if any of you have ever been drawn to have a human skull. And some people get freaked out by it. Oh my God. It's like, do you know, the human skull goes back and it's divinity. It's a divine, like even just the structure of the human skull is astronomical. It's just amazing. This is not a real one, though I did want a real one. But in Canada, you can't get a real one if you're not a doctor. So I have a doctor friend now, but I don't think she would get one. So this is a cast. This is And her jaw comes out. I don't know. I'm just feeling like really drawn that some of you Aquarians might really appreciate a human skull. So this skull was cast from, because skulls are very different too in terms of age, sex, and race. As we change, and it's interesting how much the skull changes throughout age too. So we never change. Our bodies change. So you got to believe your soul changes, and so does your mind, because the cranium changes. Oh, this is an interesting topic. But anyway, so her jaw comes out and everything. In some countries, you can get a real human skull. I have this one because I used it for art classes when people were doing, what were we doing? Portraits. So that you could understand what sits behind the face. You can understand what sits behind the face. That's what it is, Aquarius. That's who you really are. That's deep. It's like you look through people's skin and you look past their skull. You look, it's like X-ray vision. That's a little creepy. It's a little creepy for the rest of us. So the mask that you're hiding behind. Oh, look at this. The death card, and she has a skull on her face. She has painted a skull on her face. Aquarius, what deep message is this that you're doing to me again? You guys do this all the time. All the time. God, there's so much about this. What the heck? Okay, I need to look at this on the surface first because it's deep, but I have to start, I can't like just cut into the onion and understand the inside of the onion. I've got to start peeling it off a little bit here. So the death card, you know, like concluding things in your life and then rebirth, like new beginnings. It's a very scorpionic energy, and it often has a lot to do with not just like ending. I feel like there's a big depth to whatever ends in your life. It could be relationships. It could be jobs. It could be like, I decide I'm not going to live here anymore. I'm leaving all my furniture behind. I'm packing what I can fit on my back, and I'm out of this shit. I don't know. It's pretty with scorpionic energy to me. I'm just feeling this with a double skull. And it's just so funny. I was sitting here before I started the reading, and I've rearranged my table a little bit, and the skull's over here, and it used to be over there. So it used to be on the left side of me, and now it's on the right. And before I started your reading, I thought, I feel like I'm supposed to move the skull. I thought, I've never felt that before. It's here. Her name is Purple, by the way. Oh, I didn't tell you. She's a Caucasian female, young adult. So somewhere between the age, I believe, of like 25 and 35 is what that was given to me as. So anyway, so her name is Purple. My son named her when he was 2. Purple was his favorite color. But I felt like I was supposed to move the skull, and I thought, well, no, the skull sits here with me. But I was supposed to lift it up and show it to you for some reason. There's something in that. And maybe some of you can actually touch old things, or you can touch people and you can read them. Because you have something to do with the magic of the energy of the skull, the human skull. I wish I had my Witch's Tarot here. I don't. Ooh, but on my Instagram, the skull came out on a pick-a-card on there. I can't remember what the message was. There's an incantation and everything that goes with the skull. So peeling this away, Aquarius, so this is going to be simple, but apparently not. So you actually are trying to portray, the mask that you wear, I'm seeing here, is trying to portray the information that you receive. And whether you receive this through dream state, whether you receive this through some sort of meditation practice, whether you receive this through some sort of download that happens for you, maybe you pull cards like I do, or you do some other sort of divination work. But when you receive this information, you actually paint it onto yourself. You almost start living it. And it might not even be your story, but you start living it because it's painted on your, that's the mask you wear. You wear the mask of the ancient ones. You wear the mask of the ancient ones, Aquarius. Okay, why? Why do you hide your true self? The Chariot. It's a chess match. You see she's got the 2 chess pieces, and obviously the Chariot is about movement. It's about taking some sort of decision on movement, finally making a choice, moving your emotions for one thing. Why you hide your true self? The movement of your emotions with those around you is a chess game. And I don't mean a game like, just playing with people for the fun of it, or I'm going to see what outcome I can get here. It's a pretty important game because it's being driven by ancestral energy. And I don't mean that this is just your own ancestors. This is almost like the ancestors of humanity. If you find that you have to move around a lot in your lifetime, and not necessarily through anything why you want to do that, it's like being moved to certain grid lines, but not just grid lines or energetic lines. It's being moved to certain places in human history where you are meant to receive some sort of information from those people in the past. And then you wear it. You wear it, you display it, and it does become a mask for you. And when I say a chess match, a chess game, I want to say match better. It's the example of, like, living through example, because it's not necessarily something that you can just say to people and they would understand it. Human beings are very experience oriented. So the masks that you hide behind, the intention, the game in that is to create emotional movement. You are creating emotional movement within yourself, but also within, like, people around you, the bigger picture, like humanity itself, all of you scattered all over the earth doing your thing. And that creates and invokes change. But you wear this. Some people might even think that you have, like, I don't want to say multiple personalities. Like, this isn't an unhealthy thing, because a multiple personality person is someone like that's clinically diagnosed as that. Usually there's a whole bunch of aspects of a person that have been created by the mind and by the ego as defense mechanism, because there's something that was the only way to survive that. And then it keeps perpetuating and maybe even sometimes growing, even when there is no longer the trigger or the threat. That's something completely different, but where this is more like a really deep dynamic aspect to your personality. Like, you could meet people in a group, and you could meet that group, and every single one of them will have a completely different take on who they think you are. Some of them will love you, but it's how they're seeing you. So this is why it's a mask, because in some level it has to be a chess game. It's almost like understanding that people are going to see you through their own experience. They're going to see, like, what sort of downloads you receive, what sort of inspiration you have about change in your community. Even it could be like a simple project, and maybe you guys are doing some sort of community garden, and you want to put something in for badgers. Just putting badgers. Why do we need something for badgers? And it just starts the whole, and some people think, they're just a troublemaker. We don't need anything for badgers. We eradicated badgers from here years ago. Do you know why we got rid of badgers? And then other people think, that's interesting. I always thought badgers were kind of cute. And then they want to go learn about badgers. Like, it doesn't have to be big things. It can be very simple things, but it creates some sort of thought in the community. And it's based on moving emotion. Okay, so how this affects your relationships? I want to say this feels like, before I even pull a card, I want to put a little guess out here. What I'm seeing and my own experience with people. I'm going to guess that how this affects your relationships is there's probably a lot of that goes on. Because people think they know who you are. And particularly if they think, well, I like Aquarius because of this. And they're like, oh, well, that's not the story they're talking about today. And I don't like that story, so I don't like Aquarius. Like, I feel like there can be a lot of that goes on in relationship for you, Aqua babies. Okay, so what? How is this affect? Oh, choices too. I heard that so loud and clear when I pulled out this card. The Lovers. I'm getting like people in and out on really different soul levels. But I feel like it does slowly bring to you, like it gives you so many choices. You are seen as possibly too a choice, but from so many different unusual avenues. People that have no relation to each other in any way in terms of socioeconomic status, education, career, continent, community. Like it's really male, female, non-binary. Like it's just this whole, because you can display the story of many different people and be inspired by many different sort of downloads that you receive. So the advice for you is the Six of Pentacles. Find balance, for one thing, in your physical realm. That's really important. Find balance in your physical realm and give. So you sit, I want to say, like this is resonating with you. I've never seen a message like this before. It's pretty fascinating. If it's resonating with you, there's definitely something here to share, and share it from a higher perspective. Make it practical. I think the advice for you is to start making things practical. Really go with that, like leading by example. Or if you have this idea, like if you want to create, if you think the community should make a new community garden and have something in it for badgers, do it to your own front lawn, like that kind of. Show that how much you actually stand behind something. So the outcome, if you follow the advice, is this. It's the Star. I love it when I get the outcome if any of you follow the advice and it's your card. It's you and your power, it's you and your glory, it's you alchemizing, it's you healing, it's you finding new things, new points of inspiration to grow and to create. It's absolutely beautiful. It's healing. It's kind of like healing the world through healing yourself and healing others. What's at the bottom? So if you know, probably looks like I got like bad lip injection. My one lip is swollen. I have a sore from my braces. I didn't get a lip injection. You have the Hanged Man at the bottom. Now I find this Hanged Man so interesting. I find two things really interesting about it. It's a very feminine yet also androgynous looking person, and very thin. Like almost, and very thin and very pale. A very sort of anemic, like someone who's even perhaps gone on a hunger strike. I'm not telling you to do that in any way. I'm not like saying that. I'm just saying like some sort of sacrifice. And the Hangman, well, the Hangman is like really the idea of self-sacrifice, to take a breath and just take a look around and, you know that some things might be passing you by. But hey, I needed a broader perspective here. That's a funny message too. I'm also getting, for some of you, again, I would check with a doctor though before you do any of this, is those inversion tables where you can go upside down? That for some of you, that might actually be really, really beneficial. But you absolutely have to check with a doctor first, because if I remember correctly, if you have a heart condition, it can be really bad for that. So don't just go and do that. Look into it before you do that. I'm going to pull out some clarifiers. Oh. Isn't this cute? The little modern day, oh no, spellcasters. I need little witches. Let's look at this death mask. Death mask. Oh. The death mask. Why can I not remember what that is? Isn't there a particular culture that utilizes a death mask? Is it something that they put over the face of the deceased? It's going to bother me now because I'm not getting anything in on that. I'm just hearing it. So maybe it means something to someone. You have the Four of Swords. Oh. Behind everything that you are living and experiencing and showing, behind all of that is a sense of peace and tranquility, regardless of what you're projecting out. Like, regardless of even, too, what you're creating around your community. Maybe people really get pissed off about the badger idea. And it could be divisive. Like, some people think, you know what, badgers are terrible. Do you know what they do? Other people think, wait, badgers are great. Do you know what they do? But I feel like for you, it is also the intent is for healing. So healing, this is healing. You're a healer in a really unusual way. You're a healer that brings forward the past into the present with a present time perspective and causes some sort of disruption. I'm hearing like in the space-time continuum, but I think that's almost played out in terms of space and time with people around you. You really are. The Two of Wands. Let me really look at that. The Two of Wands. You are the clarity. You are the happiness. You are the celebration. This is a really cool reading. I don't make this shit up. I feel like sometimes I'm being like too nice to you guys. Because I go to some readings and like, you know what, you really need to work on this. You guys are like a mess. I'm thinking about the sun. What am I going to say? You're the sun. What you really are. You're the clarity. You are the hope for a brighter new day. I'm only laughing because it's just so ironic with Aquarian energy, right? It almost feels like it's so cliche. The Chariot. Why you hide your true self? Oh, so cool. Look at all the, look at, you have the Death card again. You have the Hermit and the Death card. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I don't think you ever fully invest yourself into a relationship. I'm going to say it. And I don't mean that you will not have relationships that carry through for your entire life. But I don't think that there's a relationship, like why you're hiding your true self here, what I'm getting from these cards. There's always something that's hidden. Look at these two people. They're both sitting in the same sort of meditative state. And the Hermit going into the movement of emotion again, utilizing emotion to gain momentum and get traction and move forward. And then we have the Death card. I really think that there's always a part of you that is on guard and that will never go away. But anyone who's like coming in as a cross watcher for Aquarius, and you could have a really good relationship for them, but you don't know them on all levels, and you never will. I'm saying that right now with these cards here. And the really interesting thing though is, I think if you had people in your life, like if we got towards the end of your life where you've lived most of your life out, and if let's say there was anywhere from 4 to half a dozen people that maybe knew you throughout most of that lifetime, if all of those people could sit together and they could do it in a totally unbiased discussion with one another, they could piece together exactly who you were. But no one could do that on their own. I really see that here. No one could do that on their own. No one can figure out, no one will ever know you on every level that you have in a singular way. There may be some people that get deeper than others, but those are going to be rare. I feel like those are going to be really rare. If something is stopping you from moving forward, like emotionally, which is interesting to talk about that, because I hear a lot of, I get this in all the signs where I see that, like I go out and I watch different readers and I read comments on all sorts of things, like just trying to get an idea of the collective and what their mindset is. I often see Aquarius as, so you're not the only sign though that has a bias against them on some level. I often see Aquarius as people saying they have no emotions, they have no feelings. I feel like Aquarius has incredible deep feelings. Like look at, to me, I associate you with air and water. Like emotional and intellectual intelligence is huge. I see that with you. But I think because you have that capacity, you can have some sort of emotional connection or investment in something. But if your intellect is telling you, As much as it hurts, you will cut the string. You will cut the sword. And that's why you hide your true self. I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to go into relationship or connection with people and end up having to cut the sword or cut the string, cut the tie, cut the rope, whatever it is for you. But so I think as you go through life, you pick up all these little nuggets of information and personality quirks that you witness around you, and you bring in stuff from the cosmos, from ancient places. Every time you move in your lifetime, and if it's not even just, gosh, it's so fluid. Like, how do you handle that? It kind of feels like even if you're going to a new town to explore, to meet someone who just moved to a new house, like you are immediately sort of energetically receiving. It's like cosmic memories of past experience. How this affects your relationships, the lovers. Many choices. I'm just hearing it so much. Plural, plural, plural. Remember there's an S on there, Cindy. Lovers. 4 of Cups. How this affects your relationships. Some of them don't get off the ground. As I said, some people, I don't think anyone is ever going to know the full concept of you. If somebody does, that's pretty big. If you let someone in there, I don't think it's something that would happen over a couple of weeks, months, or even years. It definitely does feel like some things are just, I'm hearing disappointment. I am hearing too that it makes it hard for you to kind of see the really good stuff that comes towards you, because it feels like whatever you're doing, you really do end up presenting yourself with quite a few negative choices that you dwell on or you think about. Or you've been through some things and you think, shit, I really thought I could trust that person, or I really thought that person would understand, you know, the dynamic of human personality. And I'm getting that too, like just the skull, to me, human personality, the level of that. Advice for you, the 6 of Pentacles. Advice for you, the 6 of Pentacles. That card, it flipped, it went back down. I know it was you. Justice. Oh, she got a scale in the background. So you tried to trick me. You can't do that. Look at, she's got a scale in the background here. She's about to pick it up and really weigh it out. Advice for you. Start weighing it out. Like, make some clear decisions and choices about the people that you have in your life. Weigh it out. I'm also hearing, okay, so this is interesting. If you're giving, so if you're like the 6 of Pentacles in the typical tarot, you're this figure and you're giving evenly to people kind of like on their knees needing something. When people need something of you, you either state whether you can do it or not, or if you're interested or you can't. Like full on out. Like just, this is the advice for you. I feel like it's very cut and dry. With justice, with this Libra energy, you weigh it out. You don't consider, this is where you don't consider where the heart comes in. This is where you separate that. Or you at least now take what you've learned in here and you take it up here. And then that's where the decision comes from. So really, you know, just telling people exactly where you stand. The Star. Outcome if you follow the advice. The Star. That's so good. What is this? What is this? What is it? It is La Luna, the moon. Oh, I like that combination. The moon and the stars. And the sun. Oh. See if you can find this. This is going to be good for you. Because these, okay, this is how these 2 cards are sitting here. They're sitting like this on the table, like how it's all lined up. And this is weird because I was coming home the other evening and the sun was setting and the moon was rising. And where I was driving on the road, I passed right between the 2. They were both at the same level on the horizon, right across from each other. And as I passed through them, I had the most intense, I felt like I could actually feel all the planets that were sitting between Earth and the sun, and all of the planets that were sitting beyond the Earth and the moon. It was just a weird experience, but it was really cosmic. And I'm seeing this here for you. Like, how to find the stars is to align yourself with the complete unknown, with the dreams and the wishes and the hopes that you have. Like, this is all cosmic. This is all of our planetary energy just sitting right here. And look at what you're pulling it out. There's something about that. I don't even know if that's called something. Is that some sort of a practice where you can find points in time where you are, where the sun and the moon are on the horizon at the same level, and you can stand between them? And it's powerful. It is so powerful. Like, that's kind of an advice for you. The Ace of Cups is at the bottom. I feel like you're clearing out. You might be going through a cycle where you are clearing out some emotional things, and you're having to use your intellect for that. And I almost see it like a conveyor belt. It collects up here, and then we bring this up, and then we make decisions, and then it comes back down, and we have more heartfelt experience, and then we collect, we make decisions, it comes around. You're sort of been doing, making conscious decisions about emotional things that you've experienced, and you're about to get back down into the emotional realm again to experience more emotional connection. Oh, something. I was tired after that. That was really, the minute I come out of that reading, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to go do the extended Aquarius. Yeah. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.